Hi everyone, it's Sean here from Turbosource, and I will be walking you through part 2 of our Borg-Warner EFR Turbo Kit install video. This video will cover a suggested place to jack up your ND Miata and where to place the jack stands. The video will also cover removing the under tray and front bumper. The tools that will be needed for part 2 are the following: a Phillips screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, a 1/4-inch ratchet, an extension of your choice, an 8mm socket, a 10mm socket, a 1/4-inch drive, which is optional, a floor jack, and a minimum of 2 jack stands. First off, make sure the parking brake is applied to prevent the car from moving when you are jacking up the car and when the front of the car is on jack stands. For this car, we had to place boards underneath the tires before jacking it up since the car was lower than the jack. We like to place the jack on the subframe brace to lift the car. There is one on each side of the car. On each side of the front subframe, there is a nice spot to place the jack stand near the front suspension arm. There are factory indents, and we like to put them just after the indents so the jack stands do not slide off. Under tray removal. On each side of the ND, there is a plastic wheel well cover. Each side has 4 screws that need to be removed with either the Phillips screwdriver or an 8mm socket with a 1/4-inch drive. Also, there will be 4 plastic fender clips that need to be removed on the bottom side of the plastic wheel well cover. We use a flathead screwdriver to remove the clips. Now the plastic wheel well cover is loose, it gives you access to 2 of the bolts that are securing the under tray to the subframe. There is a total of 4 bolts on each side of the ND that need to be removed. This will require you to use the 1/4-inch ratchet, the extension of your choice, and a 10mm socket. Now that you have a total of 8 bolts removed from the under tray, that leaves 2 more screws on the very front of the under tray that need to be removed in order to release the under tray from the chassis. You can either use the Phillips head screwdriver or the 8mm socket with a 1/4-inch drive to remove these screws. Now you should be able to easily remove the under tray from the chassis. Front bumper removal. On each side of the car, in the fender well area, you need to remove 4 plastic fender clips with the flathead screwdriver. This allows access to the screw that holds each side of the bumper onto the car. As you can see here, I moved the steering wheel slightly to each side in order to access the fender well. Now that the 4 plastic fender clips have been removed, it allows you to push back the plastic wheel well cover, which gives you access to the screw shown here. You can use the Phillips head screwdriver to remove this screw, or I found that the 1/4-inch drive with the 8mm socket worked better. You can now pop the bumper out on each side of the car by pulling on each side of the fender. Just a slight tug and it should pop right out. On the top side of the front bumper, there are 4 plastic fender clips that need to be removed with a flathead screwdriver. There is an additional 2 screws that need to be removed with the Phillips head screwdriver. You are now able to pull the front bumper from the chassis, but you are not able to fully remove the bumper yet. There are 2 electrical connectors on each side that need to be disconnected before you can pull the bumper completely off. Gently let the bumper down until the electrical connector hold the bumper up. Then release the gray and black connectors on each side. Each connector has a wire holder that secures to the bumper. You will need to use a flathead screwdriver to release this wire holder on each connector. An alternative option would be to use a Phillips head screwdriver and remove the blinker light enclosure completely from the bumper on each side. That wraps up part 2 of the Turbosource BorgWarner EFR ND Miata Turbo Kit install video. Part 3 will include how to remove the heater core lines, removal of the OEM header, and how to remove an aftermarket header. I hope you enjoyed this instructional video.